Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ranking Member, for this hearing. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit a March 20th Economist article entitled "Europe Needs to Spend More on Defense, Not Pretend to."
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lately, one of the things that I have heard a common theme in Europe is that Europe recognizes they have to do more for their own defense. Certainly, Poland and the Baltic states have been doing that for years. And currently, countries like Germany have taken bold steps to be able to start spending more on their own defense. However, we still haven't got the message out to some countries. As the EU grapples with exempting member states' defense spending from fiscal restrictions, some appear more concerned by what they can reclassify as defense spending rather than actually spend on military readiness. Spain, for example, has argued that defense spending should include broader civil defense costs such as climate change, while Italy has said that measures related to economic competitiveness should count. Last time I checked, you actually need hard assets like bullets to be able to shoot. You can't shoot climate change at anybody. Now, I realize defense spending isn't just a matter of percent of GDP. It's not the only panacea. For example, Italy hosts 30,000 military personnel and their families, as well as the Navy's Sixth Fleet in Naples. However, when countries which still haven't met the 2% NATO target that was set over a decade ago resort to accounting tricks to weaken our collective defense, it makes my position as a supporter of the transatlantic alliance more difficult. Mr. Fertitta, President Trump has called on our NATO allies to get to 5% of their GDP on defense. If confirmed, what actions will you take to ensure Italy not only meets but exceeds the 2% NATO target and is committed to making serious investments in their defense capabilities?
Thank you so much for that question, Senator. Italy, like so many of the NATO countries, are trying to use some fuzzy math to get to their 2%, and I hope one day we could get them all to 5%. Italy has always been one that has been an ally that was one of the first to always send troops when we need them, to send them somewhere. And they like to count that, and I do respect that from Italy, that they step up, and we should give them some credit for that. They were at 1.5%, they're at 1.6%. They also spend a lot on migration with the issues of having Tunisia and Libya and even having an island just 70 miles off the coast of Tunisia where they've had to set up processing centers in Albany and put so many patrol boats in that area to stop the migration, but protects all of Europe, not just Italy. So where I understand some of their elements of saying our 1.6% is maybe enough, it's absolutely not enough. And it's something with, I've got to sit down with their government and work with them and understand their budget more so, especially their defense budget, and if they will share it with me and help them to increase their 1.6. We have got to get it at 2%. It's something, and my term there, that is a personal goal of mine, to get them from the 1.5, 1.6 to 2% by the time that I've served the government there for the United States. So I just want you to know it's on my radar screen, and I plan to do whatever I can do to help get us there.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Tremont. I appreciate that. I certainly agree with the other comments you made about Italy, but we do need to give it 2%. Diego Garcia is the largest island in the Chagos Archipelago, has been home to a strategic joint U.S.-UK military base for decades. Given its key location, that it's in British territory, the base is critical to U.S. air and naval operations in the Indo-Pacific. In fact, just last week, we deployed B-2 stealth bombers from Diego Garcia to deter further Iranian malign aggression. Despite this, and with the backing of the Biden administration, the UK struck a deal last October to transfer Chagos to Mauritius. The deal was sold as protecting British and American interests under the guise that the UK would retain control of Diego Garcia for an additional 99-year period. However, Communist China is expanding its presence in the Indian Ocean, and its close relations with Mauritius means the deal would put our base under their threat. If the deal is ratified, it could allow Communist China to be able to maneuver ships and planes near Diego Garcia for intelligence gathering, or even potentially allow Beijing to acquire and militarize nearby islands like in the Chagos, like it's done in the South China Sea. Mr. Stevens, the UK Foreign Minister Lammy said, if President Trump doesn't like the deal will not go forward. While negotiations are still ongoing, do you believe the pending UK-Mauritius deal is in our best interests?
Well, thank you, Senator. What I know is what I read in the press about the negotiations there, just as a person who can obviously read a map. That's a very key base for the United States. I know the military has used it for many missions for many years. I would think, I know the administration is considering it, and I'm confident that they will come to the right decision on whether to approve that deal or not. But you know, just it's a critical little piece of land for both the UK and the US, but I have to believe that the administration will come to the proper conclusion, and we'll go forward from there.
Okay, and do you share my concern about Communist China and the threats around there? They're close.
Senator, I share your concerns about China, not only around there, but everywhere.
Great.
So that's very much at the forefront of I think all of our minds.
Yeah. Well, I do think that, again, this is a bad deal for us, and that the administration should work with the UK to make sure that we retain that possession there. And I just harken back to President Trump seems to be very unhappy with the Panama Canal Treaty, and this seems like another version of that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman, for indulging me to let me go longer.